Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, all in crypto here, and welcome back, guys. I hope you're all having a smashing Saturday. This is going to be another daily cryptocurrency market update, and there is simply never a dull moment in the cryptocurrency sphere. And we're going to be talking about a number of things. Yesterday, the market experienced quite a bit of volatility. I think Bitcoin at one point was down nearly 4%. There was a number of factors that I think have been put together that likely caused this. Not only technically was it quite viable that something like this could have happened, but of course you've got to remember off of the XRP lawsuit, or I should say the Ripple, Brad and Chris lawsuit, a lot of FOMO ensued after that. You're always going to get a pullback and a kind of kickback from that as that buying pressure weakens and a lot of people start to second guess and people sort of take advantage of a short opportunity. Also, we had a lot of Binance FUD yesterday, and we are calling it Binance FUD, whether it be on Binance USDT going down to nearly 70 cents. I think that was a bug in the UI, or whether it be the rumors about Binance laying off thousands of staff. Now, do you guys remember that meme? And it was a meme before memes were even a thing, of leave Britney alone. I can't remember who it was, but you've got that individual that's crying and saying, leave Britney alone. I feel very much like doing a kind of skit of that for Binance and CZ, because we have continued to reiterate, despite all the flack that we've got, that we think CZ is actually a good guy. We think Binance is a good company, just like we think Coinbase is. And we think that both Brian Armstrong and CZ are actually, and they're not perfect human beings. I find it very interesting when people kind of throw shade when... Don't be a hypocrite, guys. You know, no one's perfect. However, I do think as far as actors within the crypto space go, both Brian and more so CZ, I would actually say, have been net positives. And I really do wish CZ all the success in the world. I think he's been a very strong and guiding light during everything that's gone on. And he's been nothing but transparent. And of course, we saw a little bit of that get baked into the price as people worry. People want there to be another leg down so they can accumulate. I personally don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong. It's just the stance that I have. So we will talk about that. We're going to be looking at some things also coming out from the SEC. It's a huge blow to the SEC. Huge blow to probably Gensler's ego. I think Gensler is a very egotistical kind of individual who is clearly driven to try and take Yellen's position as a treasury one day. But I think he's doing a unbelievably poor job of regulating the cryptocurrency market. We heard, and we'll look at some news from Larry Fink, who essentially is talking again about crypto as a transcendent currency, that it could outpace other currencies due to its kind of global nature, and talk about the industry really as a whole. Then we'll look at the fact that the SEC has acknowledged the Bitcoin ETFs from Blackrock, VanEck, Investco, Galaxy Digital, Fidelity, and WisdomTree. You know, it makes me nervous when all these people start crawling out of the woodworks like Mike Novogratz, who made and has continued to make some of the worst calls in the entire crypto space. This guy had Luna tattooed on it, okay? And now I'm seeing him pop up and become a kind of crypto guru once more. There's lots of those gurus out there. You know, it's very interesting to see everyone try and jump on the XRP bandwagon. Again, check out the Patreon, guys. Our money is always where our mouth is on these things, and you get nothing but honesty from us. Brad Garlinghouse, of course, went on Bloomberg and spoke about everything that's transpired. We will be taking a look at that. And then, of course, going to the charts. You know, I think there's still an amazing buying opportunity. We assess that the market, the altcoin market, Bitcoin's further ahead than the altcoin market, but many altcoins are in this critical stage, a stage that we would refer to as stage one, going into stage two, which we believe potentially Bitcoin is already in. And you can learn about stages in markets by joining the Patreon. We've got a whole list of courses that we're going to be bringing out. And this is prime time. So we will talk about that. Let's start things off, guys, with a little bit. Let's actually start things off with a price action. And we'll go ahead and get rid of the RSI. We'll get rid of the draws, and we'll just look at a naked chart. So yesterday was a pretty volatile day. You can see, of course, this Bitcoin is very much and has been ranging for nearly a month now. Now, the kind of period that we're in is very much summer. You can almost call it summer doldrums. I think going into August, September, it's going to be a lot of interest that comes back to the markets. It's very interesting that you've got a key decision to be made on ETFs, which we know the ramifications, and we were saying well before Blackrock had even published an ETF, just why an ETF is such a big deal. We looked at gold, now everyone's on that bandwagon, and a number of other things. But it's very interesting to me to kind of go back up to the larger time frames that you're coiling up around this kind of 30k level. Okay, you guys know that we've been very spot on. This is an inverse head and shoulders that we've got. You do this thing where you kind of have a concession of head and shoulders, and just like you did here, you can see them all over the place. See it here, you can see one here. You kind of do the same thing on the way down. The markets move in a very, in many cases, textbooks way. And if you look at where we are in terms of Bitcoin, tell me where this is. And then look at your altcoins. We think they're just at a stage behind, and there's going to be huge opportunities there. But right now, Bitcoin is consolidating around a key fundamental decision, which the technicals are already showing you of an ETF. There's been a little bit of headway in regards to the ETF. This was from yesterday, just in update. SEC has acknowledged the Bitcoin ETF applications from Blackrock, VanEck, Investco, Galaxy Digital, Fidelity, and WisdomTree, which is a good step in the right direction. We know that they essentially, did they dismiss them? I think that might be the right word, based on their vagity and they called them unacceptable. They then instantly filed again. And actually, we did have news that this was just a roadblock initially and not a roadblock, a speed bump, and not an all-out roadblock. So Bitcoin's very much consolidating right now. You had a lot of FOMO take place, and I think that caused a large part of this rally. Let's go and get the chart back on. I don't like what TradingView's done with their new kind of layout for getting on auto and such, but you had a lot of FOMO yesterday based on, well, not yesterday, the day before, based on the XRP lawsuit. Bitcoin did very well along with the rest of the market. And then, of course, you had a huge liquidity dump. And this was across the board. However, and certainly for altcoins, you've seen a lot more strength. Bitcoin dominance is very much rolling here. Let's take a bit of a zoomed out look at where it is. 4 hours probably not going to be that applicable, but this certainly is. You are coming back to your range, and if you slip into it, that's going to be very, very interesting. We've got a number of draws on here. I wonder what. You want to look for a loss here. Bitcoin's still doing well. That's your alt season. Alt season may have definitely been brought around by the SEC losing the Ripple case. We saw certainly a lot of the altcoins that were mentioned in the Coinbase and Binance lawsuits actually do very well. Lots of them look to be getting relisted. We know Robinhood and others actually delisted them. So very interesting, and if you look at altcoins also, you see a lot more strength in them after yesterday's sell-off than you do the likes of Bitcoin. But we absolutely assess that Bitcoin is in a bull market. We made a call on the 5th of January, which was literally down here. One of the only people that I've seen make that call, by the way. And that was based on a number of things, looking at market structure, cycles, stages, divergences, technical analysis, all kinds of things. And if you do join the Patreon, please go and check that video from the 5th of January, where we made that call. Altcoins, it's been a little bit more turbulent. However, we do think they will outperform Bitcoin eventually. And we're a lot more in altcoins than we are Bitcoin, based on the fact that we think they overperform over a period of time. Could we have been more intricate and maybe caught the Bitcoin dominance trade? We could have, of course. And actually, it's quite frustrating because we were pretty spot on in regards to Bitcoin's direction, as well as the stock markets and everything else. So it's just the macro environment that we're in is supportive of what we think is to come. We've been very accurate on the markets. We've used Microsoft really as a kind of poster child, if you will, for things broadly. Gold, we think, is on the precipice. The dollar got absolutely smashed, which is good for our market. Despite all of this, despite lower inflation, which we'll talk about towards the end of the video. In fact, we could probably talk about that now. If you bear with me and just let me get we've looked at the spot ETF news. True inflation stats up. We are seeing huge deflation across the board, not just in the US, across the board globally. I think true inflationary stats yesterday came out at 2.11, which is super low and very much bang on the money. The Fed is still, despite this, set to do another interest rate hike in about 13 days' time, or is it 11 days' time? It could be 11 days' time, the 26th. I think this is just a token gesture and them just sort of beating their chest a little bit. But the dollar's very much indicating that rate hiking cycle is coming to an end. We've done lots of work, and I haven't seen anybody else do the work on this and the homework. Literally haven't seen anybody else highlight. And you're welcome to steal it from me if you're another channel out there you're not really stealing off. We will look at the same charts, but you're welcome to mention it if you're another channel out there. We have no beef with that whatsoever. We want everybody to win. Nobody's highlighted what happens under sideways rate period and what happens to the likes of the S&P and correlation. That is coming. We've got new all-time high technical targets for the S&P. We've looked at Bitcoin across. You've never had so much going on. This is Larry Fink talking again about crypto. We'll play this clip and then we'll get into a number of other things, like what happened with Binance yesterday. Look at some news from Brad Garlinghouse, and then we'll wrap this video up. There's always so much to talk about, guys. Please do hit that like button, subscribe, and comment if you've not already done so. Let's go on with this clip.
More and more global investors are asking us about the role of crypto. And as I said, I do believe a lot of crypto is going to be, it's an international asset. It has a differentiating value versus other asset classes, but more importantly, because it's so international, it's going to transcend any one currency and currency evaluation. If you just look at the value of our dollar, how it depreciated the last two months, and how much it appreciated over the last 5 years, I mean, an international crypto product can really transcend that. And that's why we believe there's great opportunities, and that's why we're seeing more and more interest. And that interest is broad-based worldwide.
Unbelievable, guys. It was a pipe dream. I've been in the crypto space for long enough to have had that as a pipe dream. Larry Fink talking about this sort of stuff. Just huge, phenomenal. You are all ahead of even the likes of Larry Fink if you've been watching this channel. We're very spot on with pretty much a lot of what we've been saying, and I do believe we're going to continue to be so. There's something really transformative taking place with blockchain, and we're very much ahead of that curve and positioned for it. Before we go on to talk about Brad Garlinghouse, let's talk about yesterday. A lot of what took place with the price action yesterday had to do with Binance. Tether on Binance US is collapsing. So if you understand, due diligence is so important, right? Everything I say on this channel, if you have an alternative point that you think has merit, leave it in the comment section, because you might know something that I don't. We develop bias not through emotions, through critically thinking about a market and developing a bias based on that and the arguments for and against that bias. If the arguments for it outweigh the ones against it, then we go with it. Okay, it's a probability-based game. If you don't understand how Tether works, or USDC, or even BUSD, which we know is becoming more and more irrelevant, they are backed. Okay, Tether, it's a little bit more complicated because they have treasuries and stuff like that back them. USDT has no treasuries backing them. They moved away from it, and it's all fiat backed. But they are backed one-to-one with a dollar or the representative of, not crypto, like Luna. Everyone's got such PTSD from Luna, and I totally understand it, that they are scared, basically, that this is, going to happen again with some of these big coins. And if it did, it would be absolutely colossally damaging to the entire industry. I just don't think it's going to happen. And this, I think, was a UI bug. CZ again, there was also rumors that they're laying off thousands of staff. As we continue to strive to increase talent density, there are innovatory terminations. This happens in every company. The numbers reported by media are all way off. For FUD, so remember the 4. On the bright side, they can't resist talking about us. We are still hiring. We stand with CZ, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think he's been nothing but a good guy for the space. Any criticism that I've heard people bring against him is baseless. Literally baseless. And until somebody can show me why I should have my hands set against him, there's no reason to do so. So, it's very interesting. I think people want this to be true. It's a huge win for crypto, and people are already coming up with reasons to be negative. It's just how it goes. It's time for the SEC to settle with Coinbase and Ripple. The Securities and Exchange Commission should recognize it's time to settle cases against Coinbase and Ripple. Coinbase, I think we're going to hear about very, very soon. Extremely soon, in fact. And I do believe that Coinbase is going to win. I think that, they're going to probably try and hunt Binance a little bit more. But Coinbase is going to win this lawsuit. You know, they're allowed to IPO, for goodness sake. The SEC is just nothing short of incompetent. We've always said this is a power grab. They're seeing what they can get. They're not even confident themselves in a lot of what they're saying. On the Ripple and sort of Coinbase news, let's listen to a quick clip from Brad at Bloomberg, and then I'll love and leave you on a little bit of other stats and leave you to your smashing Saturdays.
In some ways, it's ironic. You know, the mission statement of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission is to protect investors. They went after Ripple, suggesting that, you know, all kinds of things, everything we were doing was selling an unregistered security. And the judge really very clearly said, you know, sales through exchanges, not a security. When it's used for compensation, not a security. When it's used for incentives around the overall XRP ecosystem, not a security. So, you know, we have already moved a lot of our activity, and frankly, 95% of our customers are non-US. So a lot of our activity has been outside the US jurisdiction because that's where our customer demand is. But I think that's where the US is losing. And I think what the SEC has been trying to do is to put power and politics over what is really just sound policy and providing clear rules of the road such that entrepreneurs and investors can participate in this amazing new market around crypto and blockchain technologies.
So this is still a legal process playing out. I think people watching, you know, an SEC appeal process, what that looks like. What does it mean for your company in your business?
So just to add a bit of context to what he said there, the SEC, people are saying are going to appeal this. This could take years. They might do. I don't know why they would when it's had a judge's approval other than through spitefulness. The SEC, honestly, I'm not just saying this because they're against crypto. If there was merit to what they were saying, again, just like with being long the markets, we would pay attention to it. It just seems like if he can't even answer the simple question, is Ethereum a security or not, after all of this time, what do you do with that? You know, how can you regulate something you haven't even given clear rules for? And listen to Brad's response to the appeal question.
This in the interim.
Look, as a matter of law, you know, the law of the land right now is that XRP is not a security. And until there is an opportunity for the SEC to file an appeal, which would take years, and frankly, we're very optimistic. If they were to file an appeal, we think that only further solidifies the decision this judge made, because look, as a matter of law, as a matter of the facts, and really as a matter of, you know, looking back in the history here, you know, for the SEC, really it's overreach to suggest, as the chair has said many times, that basically everything in the crypto space is a security. Well, we now have a judge very clearly saying that is just not true, and very clearly saying XRP is not a security on exchanges and all these different use cases, which I think helps the whole industry for sure. So this is a win for Ripple. It's also a win for the entire crypto industry. And I think that's why you saw the crypto industry react so positively over the last 24 hours.
Huge win. Huge win indeed. Yeah, very interesting. Lots going on. You know, you're on the precipice of this asset class being recognized as exactly that, an asset class. Hopefully we're positioned well for it. What you guys choose to do with your own money is entirely up to you. Stick to the plan, guys. You know, we've been getting a lot of good feedback from the markets. And ultimately think that's going to continue to be the case. Could we be wrong? Could we have got things wrong? Absolutely. You know, we perhaps weren't as positioned as we should have been for the Bitcoin dominance trade. Hindsight's always 2020. Anybody that is, and did we, in some cases, maybe even prematurely buy altcoins in January? Potentially. They went on and some of them put in new lows. Some of them are still in lows. Look at Algorand, for example. So we don't get everything right. We try and do our best, and you get nothing but honesty from me on this channel. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. A like and a comment is always appreciated, and please consider checking out the Patreon. On that note, see you in the next one.